good, y'all? This your boy Black G92. Now, for this afternoon, I'm going to do a reaction to this more so recent video that was posted on 11th of March, made by the Critical Drinker, titled "Why Modern Movies Suck." Indentioned, they teach us awful lessons. Sounds like an interesting title, and as with most of Critical Drinker's videos, I started watching his vids more so back in like sometime in 2021, which is last year. Yeah, I know it's like this was still like when the whole pandemic's still going on and shit and whatnot. And I do find his critiques rather interesting. And not saying I agree with every last one, but that does offer some good insight to as far as the modern why modern movies is not up to par as those in the past. You know what I mean? So, and also got to mention, he does praise a few of the newer ones that's out, like as far as movies and TV shows that do hit the mark as well. So he ain't just like hating on everything that's out. You know what I mean? Just the ones that just seem to get blindly praised by the masses and for just having a good theme instead of just being a legit good film per se, or a good TV show, I might add. And the videos I've seen, I find him interesting and rather funny because his whole like drunken Scottish dude accent is just on point. I mean, I'll be laughing my ass off. But anyway, I'm gonna see what this video's looking like in about 3, 2, 1.
One of the great things about movies is that not only are they a fun escape from all the bullshit of everyday life, but they can also teach us important lessons about how to live those lives, like the value of friendship, camaraderie and loyalty, the dangers of pride and arrogance, the importance of compassion and charity, or the meaning of determination and resilience. Movies have the unique ability to inspire and move us, and like I say, the lessons they teach us have influenced whole generations of people to do more than they ever thought possible. To reach higher, strive further, work harder and be more than they are. But they can also help to warn us against our darker impulses like selfishness, arrogance and hatred. They're a bit like a set of moral scales that help to keep us balanced and level. But the problem with modern movies is that
before you started with critique, because that's how he starts. Like, you know how he normally starts his videos. Like, before you get started, because when he goes in, he goes in. But anyway, gave some good points as far as like what films are originally meant to be, not only just entertain us, but also give like valuable life lessons and morals, and also function as allegories of what to do, how to like just strive for higher than what we normally would, and how to avoid certain like pitfalls or I'll say darker impulses, like he brought up in this point. I brought up like earlier in this video, the first say 30-some seconds, and it's very true because that's what they were supposed to be. And plus, of course, like I said, escapism from this shit we deal with on a day-to-day basis. Why else you think theaters are still around? So then folks can get a break from all the madness in the world, like whether it's on the opening night or say the weekend. You know what I mean? You know, there's a little something that you don't mind, but I gotta hear what you gotta say about this modern movies and whatnot. Because, like I said, when he goes in, he'll go in.
Notice the moral scale tipping in the wrong direction, trying to frame negative actions, decisions and messages in a positive light. Basically what this means is they're teaching people really shit lessons now, and if this sort of thing continues for too long, it's going to produce an entire generation of shitty people. I mean, damn, just log into TikTok for 5 minutes and you'll see exactly what I mean. Luckily, the drinker is here to help, and truly, who better to balance the scales of morality than a barely functional Scottish alcoholic who considers it a major win if he wakes up in his own house. So join me for another episode of Why Modern Movies Suck. Now, for our first example, let's take a look at the 1998 Disney animated movie Mulan. It's set in Imperial China and follows the story of a young woman who disguises herself as a man so that she can enlist in the army and help defend her country from foreign invaders. The movie quickly establishes her as a bit of a free spirit, yearning to escape her safe but dull life and find adventure and excitement, which was actually a pretty common thing for Disney princesses back then. Anyway, like the other recruits, she gets put through some rigorous training to teach teach her how to be a soldier, and because she's smaller and weaker than the others, naturally she struggles to keep up with them. Her commanding officer doesn't think much of her, and neither do the other recruits. She even comes close to flunking out more than once, but through a combination of intelligence and sheer fucking determination not to give up, she's eventually able to turn situations to her advantage. She even wins over the respect of her commander, and her ability to think quickly under pressure allows them to win a great victory over the enemy army. Mulan is actually a pretty good example of positive life lessons. The struggles and eventual successes of the main character demonstrate the value of determination and perseverance even when the odds are against you. That a person's worth isn't defined by the size of their muscles, and even if you're not as big and strong as other people, it doesn't mean that you can't go on to achieve great things. It's all about playing the hand that you're dealt, even if that hand doesn't seem as strong as other people's. Now consider the live-action remake of Mulan from a...
Now, before it's anything else, I can say like Mulan is a classic movie, and I think I'm gonna have to rewatch that film again because I did enjoy it like growing up, like watching it a few times. The few times I did watch it growing up, especially with Mushu and such. You can't go wrong with Eddie Murphy, like being the voice of like a dragon and such. You can't go wrong with that. And plus, not to mention, the story is like very, very well written. You know what I mean? And plus, like you mentioned earlier, it seemed like the Disney princesses from back in the day. Like this, it's a whole world of difference in what's being put out now. But let's get back to it.
Of years ago. The basic premise of the movie is the same. Foreign armies invade China, and because there's no men of fighting age in her family, Mulan disguises herself as a man so that she can join up instead. The difference though is in how the main character is presented and the challenges that she has to overcome, because basically there aren't any. Whereas the original Mulan was limited by her physical shortcomings and had to make up for them in other ways, gradually winning people over by refusing to back down, this new version is just fucking great at everything right off the bat. She's just as fast, just as strong, just as good at fighting as the others. In fact, if anything, she's probably better than them, because she was born with high levels of chi or something, which allows her to perform feats of agility and skill that border on the supernatural. So basically, all the challenges and problems that made life so difficult for the original Mulan are pretty much non-existent here. And well, it kind of undermines what used to be a pretty inspiring message. Whereas the original film taught people the value of hard work, determination, and perseverance, even if things aren't going in your favour, the new movie gives them a character that's just awesome because, well, she was born that way. She doesn't really have to earn her special abilities, she doesn't have to work hard or strive to overcome adversity, she just kind of does it because she already has what she needs. And shit man, that seems like a pretty crappy lesson to apply to your own life. Like, imagine going into every situation firmly convinced that you're already perfect and you'll just naturally succeed because you already have what you need. In fact, if anything, that reminds me more of Anakin Skywalker from the Star Wars prequels. So, let's take a quick look at him, shall we?
Hey, man, don't crap on my boy Anakin, man. Anakin was it's that dude, man, for real. Granted, like, how he's written in the prequels wasn't the best, but the scenes where he shined the most, like, where he shines the most, you definitely felt the anguish of what he's going through, you know what I mean? Like, as, of course, when he's gotten older, plus with the Clone Wars series, like, come on now, like, you can't go too hard on Anakin now. I hope you don't do so. But I already know, like, this guy does hold no punches for sure. But like, based on the description, I have not seen the remake of the Mulan because I just simply wasn't interested. Because, like, when I found out they won't have Mushu in the film, I was like, I'm good. I'll pass. I'll pass. And then just reading up on the reviews of it, such, and of course the actress supporting the whole concentration camps they have with the Uyghur Muslims, whatever that's going on over in home country. It's like, I don't know about this. I don't know about that one, Chief. I might still check it out, but based on the reviews I've read, especially with Critical Drinker's review of the movie, like, I'm not interested in seeing it because it's another pointless remake of a Disney movie, of a '90s Disney animated film. Like, what's the point of it? Y'all not gonna do none of this. Going, like, especially if they're making changes to the characters' arc. It changes arc like that as far as they're having it perfect and do everything right the first time, being OP as a motherfucker, like a video game character. Like, it's not going, like, this doesn't even sound interesting at all. But anyway, let's get let's go ahead and finish watching this video.
Anakin starts out as a good man who came from humble beginnings and has the potential to become the most powerful Jedi who ever lived.
Yeah.
He's strong with the Force and quickly learns to develop his abilities, but his enormous potential and rapid rise to power gradually stokes a sense of arrogance, entitlement, and impatience.
Yeah.
He feels like it's his destiny to reshape the world and make it a better place, and
That's
quickly
true.
gets frustrated with anyone who stands in his way.
Yeah.
Like the Jedi High Council, who caution him against moving too quickly, forming personal attachments, and trying to take shortcuts to power. This frustration, combined with a strong personal attachment to the people close to him, makes him vulnerable to manipulation by sinister characters who want to use him for their own ends. And eventually, this combination of personal flaws and outside interference pulls him to the dark side of the Force, turning him against the people that love him most. And his inflated belief in his own superiority ultimately costs him everything. It's an interesting character arc that underlines the key message about Anakin's fall from grace. Taking the quick and easy route to power and success might give you short-term gains, but ultimately it's going to lead to long-term losses and disaster. Skill and talent that isn't tempered by wisdom, restraint, and experience eventually leads to arrogance, impatience, and a dangerous overestimation of your own abilities. And well, look how that one turns out.
Yep.
It's a cautionary tale that warns us against.
I thought he was gonna go in on Anakin at first, but now I kind of jumped to the conclusion. I thought like Crickle Drink is gonna go in on Anakin, but it's like but come to find he's just like giving props to how he was written in the prequel trilogy of the Star Wars franchise, and which is a very good point though. It definitely gives that whole little themes of just like themes of just arrogance and how arrogance can just lead to just like just the. Hold up. Man, I just be like every time I make these QuickTime commentary, just I lose track of what I'm about to say. But anyway,
Term gains, but ultimately it's going to lead to long-term losses and disaster. Skill and talent that isn't tempered by wisdom, restraint, and experience eventually leads to arrogance, impatience, and a dangerous overestimation of your own abilities. And well, look how that one turns out.
Yep,
It's a
burned
cautionary tale that warns us against the dangers of hubris and suggests that the longer, harder road is what builds character, resilience, and wisdom, the things that will serve you best in life.
Yep.
As a point of comparison, consider Anakin's modern-day counterpart, who basically has all of his strengths and potential, but none of his weaknesses or character
None at all.
flaws. Despite her enormous potential with the Force, and her abilities that just seem to come out of nowhere with no training or instruction, Rey
Yeah.
never gives in to anger, impatience, hubris, or a lust for power. She's consistently portrayed as stoic, altruistic, compassionate, brave, resourceful, and pretty much perfect in every way. And fuck me, it's more boring than a low-budget Bruce Willis movie. Just like with the new version of Mulan, there's no particular challenge, obstacle, or shortcoming that Rey struggles to overcome. She already has everything she needs to succeed in life, and so there's nothing in particular to learn from her. Wow, what an inspiring example for all of us. And that's
At
not
all.
even counting
Not
all
at
the other horrendous life lessons to be learned from the new Star Wars movies, such as, you should always blindly trust authority figures and do exactly as they command, even if their orders make no sense and run contrary to everything you know to be right. Battles and wars are won by protecting people you care about at all costs, even if that means preventing them from sacrificing themselves to save a much larger group of people.
what a the worst heel turn of a scene that I've ever witnessed in the theaters, man. Because at first, like when Finn was about to ride through that little red laser, we thought he was gonna die, but I think a person named Rose comes in and saves the day, like taking away his one moment of just heroic sacrifice and like destroys whatever character development they had at that point, which was also most of a restart where he was at in Force Awakens. You know what I mean? And I do agree that Rey is a hella OP in this film, and like doesn't have none of endures none of the trials and tribulations that Anakin had to endure. You know what I mean? Granted, she does have the backstory of her parents being commoners selling her for liquor money type deal, which could have been easily expounded upon, and her whole fighting style, of course, like Rey just be body swinging that shit. Like apparently does not require any sort of refinement or training. Which, by the way, the whole sequence of her being on that off the grid island with Luke was, of course, another missed opportunity. Showcasing her training, learn how to hone her skills with the Force and such. I mean, because with on their skills with the Force and everything is in the other previous franchises, as well as I'm quite sure in the other expanded universe. You see like the progression of Padawan to Jedi and such like that, how they refine the skills and become Jedi masters and such. But with Rey, she has to go have none of those moments. I mean, none at all. But anyway, let's get back to it.
That you care about. Running amok and randomly destroying property for a few minutes is the perfect way to enact meaningful social and political change on a planetary scale. Your family legacy and heritage is less important than who you are as an individual.
You have no place in the story. You come from nothing. You're nothing.
Oh wait, apparently your heritage does matter.
You are a Palpatine.
Oh wait, now you can just choose your own heritage or something.
Rey Skywalker.
I'm so fucking confused. Now allow me to direct your attention to Wonder Woman 1984, the sequel to the original Wonder Woman, which basically destroyed the character and the franchise that she was part of. Now, the plot for that movie is absolute nonsense, but for the sake of this video, the basic gist is that a magical object gets discovered which grants the wishes of anyone who touches it. Unfortunately, it usually takes something back in return. Wonder Woman chooses to be reunited with Steve Trevor, the man she fell in love with before he sacrificed himself like 70 years earlier, and wouldn't you know it, within a matter of hours, Steve shows up alive and well. Only it isn't actually Steve, it's just his consciousness inhabiting the body of some random guy and wearing him like a fucking skin suit. And Wonder Woman is totally fine with this apparently. She even has sex with him when he's clearly not capable of consenting to it. Now, take a moment to imagine how this would play out if the genders of these two characters were reversed. How it would go from a touching, poignant romance to a horrifying piece of sexual exploitation. The poor guy...
that would be it. Yeah, that would not bold as well if they gender swapped. If the roles are reversed, yeah, it would be a horrid situation, and not to mention, it doesn't make sense for the character at all. I mean, I haven't seen the first Wonder Woman. I heard some good things about the first Wonder Woman, but I heard a lot of mixed reactions to 1984 and how it's kind of inferior to the first film. But damn, if this is how they written Wonder Woman, I'm still gonna. I might still check it out as well as the first one, but damn, it kind of lowered my expectations of it at all. Lowered my whatever expectation I had of it. It's like damn, and this wow. Who's writing these screenplays? Let me know.
That she's now using as her own personal plaything was once an innocent man with friends, family, a life, hopes, dreams and aspirations for the future, and she was happy for all of that to be erased so that she could live out her fantasy with a guy that's been dead for 70 years. And what's even more sinister is that the movie tries to frame her eventual decision to give Steve up as some kind of tragic, heroic sacrifice. Fuck off, Wonder Woman. You should be absolutely ashamed of what you've done here. The same premise also applies to WandaVision. According to that show, it's basically okay to take control of an entire town against their will and keep them in a state of perpetual agony as they're forced to live out your twisted fantasies. Why? Because someone you love died and now you've got the big sad. No shit, people lose loved ones every day, but it doesn't give them an excuse to go on some crazy rampage and destroy innocent lives. This is the stuff of horror movies, but for some reason the main character is framed as a tragically misunderstood hero that sacrifices the things she loves for the sake of others, which is a bit like framing a bank robber as a philanthropist because he got caught and forced to give back all the money he stole.
They'll never know what you sacrificed for them.
You didn't sacrifice anything, Wanda, because this stuff wasn't yours to take in the first place. Both Wonder Woman and WandaVision, whether they intended it or not, are teaching their audience some pretty fucking sketchy life lessons. The idea that your own personal happiness is literally more important than other people's freedom, well-being, and personal integrity. This is the worldview of a villain, not a fucking hero. You know, when I try to imagine the kind of person that would come out the other end if they took the lessons of all these movies and shows to heart, I'm kind of horrified by the possibilities. Instead of teaching people to be brave, determined and compassionate, to take the harder road and become stronger through adversity, to care for others and respect their freedom, to work hard and better themselves, we're instead teaching people to be arrogant, complacent, entitled, narcissistic and selfish. These are shitty lessons designed to produce shitty people that are destined to crash and burn once they get out into the real world. Or even worse, invade it in large enough numbers that they actually start to dilute the culture and make it just as shitty as them. And if that happens, well, don't say the drinker didn't try to warn you. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
I like when he says that part. He's like, go away now. Like he's just done what he has to say. It's like, look, get out of my face, man. That's what basically translates to what. Yeah, he brought some good points in this vid. And another enjoyable film, not enjoyable film, but another enjoyable analysis video about, the whole like modern day film scene. And now his whole take on WandaVision, I can see, I didn't fully agree, but it's like, because there are like heroes with questionable morality that do become better people as the story progresses. And, as far as if anything we said on there, like as far as description of WandaVision is true, I somewhat find it interesting because at least on like Captain, well, then again, it's kind of a different context, so I'm not going to even mention that. I was going to say something else about like Captain America Civil War, but it's like kind of different context. But I'm about to say, because I think with like her reaction to losing a loved one and like now, granted, how she go about it based on this description may be extreme, but her reasons, well, not her reasons, more so her reaction to losing Vision and such. I mean, reason is like understandable, but now how she goes about it, we don't have to necessarily agree with what she's doing. Of course not. I don't think that's what. I'm quite sure that's not how the show is made to be presented. Of course, I don't think that's what it is, because based on what I read in the trailer, it didn't seem like that was the point. But I don't know. Maybe depending on who views the show, TV series, or whatever, may take certain like messages to heart and just try to act out those said messages. Like, yeah, that could get worrisome, but for the most part, most people are rational enough to like kind of know like, okay, this is not how you like handle losing a loved one. I mean, what I mean? I think I still have some trust in people's rationale on how to handle loss and such like that. But anyway, other than that, though, it's very like on point. You know what I mean? And very interesting like take on just like I said earlier about the whole modern film industry, whatever. I pass out awful lessons that people shouldn't take. You know what I mean? And so it's very on point, very funny, like how he normally does. So we see what people say in the comment section. It got like 925,000 views thus far. Let's see what people have to say about it. We are in time with Krill drinking talking about movies is more entertaining than 95% actual movies that come out. That's funny. Hey, I don't blame the person who said that in the comment section, because I heard different like comments of different comments that said the same thing what the commenter said in the comment section of that video. So, hey, it's quite messy out here. I could go deeper, but I don't want to just like take up too much of your time with the reaction. Probably way too long than it is, so I'm going to end this video right here. If you want me to react to more analysis vids, be sure to post them in the comment section below, as well as anything else like wrestling videos, music videos, songs, interviews, movie clips, movie trailers, analysis. Nice. Did I say analysis? I did say analysis videos. I did say that. Countdowns. Post them in the comment section below. And if it's your first time watching this reaction video, hit that like button, hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell, so then you can know whenever I upload a new reaction video that's going to upload sometime soon. When I upload a new reaction video. And also be sure to follow me on social media accounts, which will be posted in the description box below. And also, I'd like to let y'all know I might post like a couple of the donation links, so stay tuned for that sometime in the future, probably sometime next month, probably mid-April. Y'all might see some like couple like donation links, so stay tuned. This your boy Black G. This your boy Black G92 about to sign off. Holla at your boy. Peace.